What's good, everybody? What's going on, man? It's Stephen Qualls II, aka Mr. Qualified. It's your boy. And we are back with another episode of the Wright Quality Podcast. Friends, co-hosts, please remind the people and introduce to the new viewers, if we have any, who you are.
It's who you all know and love, Miss Ashley the First,
Ganger.
best female pod host ever. Oh,
Facts.
new nails. I think I'm gonna show my nail color every episode.
Oh, matching.
Cute.
Heat check. You know who I am. If you don't, it's in the title. It's in the description. We shall not name.
This is also very fair, but you should definitely know the unhinged man himself. If you don't know.
Stephen Qualls.
I'm not Mr. Unhinged. Y'all can't nobody take that title from you, big dog. And nobody take that title from you.
No. I don't know. No.
Don't know.
I detest. Today, we're on one level. We're good.
I'll refute that remark. But we have
they'll see by the end of the pod.
We have reached a point in the NBA season where we are now in the quarterfinal stages, the knockout round, as they call it, of the NBA Cup, the Emirates, however you say it, NBA Cup. They got a sponsor. All right.
Talking about, oh man, Unhinged.
Oh my goodness.
Unhinged pronunciation right there. That's crazy.
It's not, wait, how you say it?
Emirates.
That's how you say it for real? Emirates?
Mm-hmm. Emirates.
Emirates. Oh, you're done.
I didn't even realize how crazy that sounded. Because that is race.
That is.
Hey, we're here now.
But anyway, the knockout round is set. I think, as Gail said off screen, a lot of good basketball, a lot of good games should be on each side. But let's start in the West. We have the Oklahoma City Thunder facing off against the Dallas Mavericks. Picks for this game and why?
It's gonna be juicy. It's gonna be so juicy. This is a finals matchup, but I'm gonna go with OKC. I mean,
finals matchup?
Conference finals, maybe.
Talk about unhinged. Where's our man?
That's super. Now that'll be super juicy. But I'm going with OKC. I think their paint presence is just a little more dominant than the Mavs. Right now, we're not getting the Daniel Gafford that we've come to know and love. And I know Luka bounced back. He had a 37-point outing. I forgot against who, but I don't know. It just doesn't seem like Dallas is clicking like they were to end the season last year. So I'm going to give it to OKC.
Sorry, I haven't watched much Dallas Mavericks basketball. How is he not getting to Daniel Gafford basketball? You just have to catch a lob. And
I know, but it's like we're not picking and rolling. We're not playing fundamental basketball. So
you popping for a corner three now?
Exactly. You're not doing what you're supposed to do. It could all be so simple, but sometimes simplification is difficult.
Yeah. Sorry. No, after him roasting Rudy Gobert on a pod, I'm just like, bro, like we are all like I'm sure that they're all NBA players. Don't get me wrong. But I mean, like, come on now. Really Michelle calling another Michelle. Like,
oh,
yo.
Not that Michelle should ever catch a stray, but just that connotation. Michelle gets the flowers every day. But I mean, you know how they used.
No, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Are we talking
another Michelle with 4 DPOYs?
We're talking Michelle that I think.
Not my aunt.
I think he's talking about. Michelle. I think he's talking about the Michelle that we think he's talking about.
Okay. I'm actually proud of you for that reference. Yeah, you're hip.
No, it was.
I'm quite proud.
That was solid. That was
solid.
Solid.
You did that.
Handshake, good sir. Handshake, good sir.
I'm telling you, I'm hinged. I'm hinged. I'm a
Hinged.
door.
Gail,
Uh,
who's your pick?
but I like OKC. I've been watching them more. Hartenstein has been really nice as of late. Like now that he's off injury, I can't wait to see the dynamic between him and Chet when they get back. Like I think that's what he needs, just another dude that's just gonna crash and like bang down low for him while he can be out there. Because we've seen, I mean, two quick injuries early in his career. I just want him to stretch the floor and block a couple shots. But the less he can be impacted while he's like building his frame, I think this works out perfectly. So, but yeah, out of there's probably bias in this. Probably in oh my goodness, I don't want to say the wrong word. An inherited bias from Jason Kidd being a former coach of the Bucks and whatever it may be from the past, but don't I don't know. A Jason Kidd coach team just doesn't bode well for me ever winning any cup. But this sounds like hate. OKC to make a long thing short, OKC.
It definitely sounds like hate. I don't think Kidd is a terrible head coach. I have heard the comment before that Kidd is a better assistant coach than he is a head coach, but I don't think he's done terribly in
He
Dallas.
took more risks early in his career.
Yeah, that's pretty
crazy. Sorry, but that's just coaching.
I am picking Oklahoma City. However, I do think this will be a game. Like, I don't think Oklahoma City is running away with this. I do think they'll have to work for the win. Dallas is not an early season team.
Yeah.
I think we typically see the best version of Dallas toward the end of the year as they are gearing up for the playoffs. So, in the same way that, they could lose some of that edge, if you will, because it's early in the season. I don't know. They also haven't really played bad this season. When Luka was out, they actually had a winning record, and a lot of the role players stepped up. And also, a lot of their losses are close losses. They haven't in games that they probably should have won. So they haven't been getting blown out, and they've been a relatively consistent team for the majority of the season thus far. So kind of just depends on how the game goes. What kind of Kyrie do we get? What Luka, do we get? But I do like, we've talked about it before, but I love OKC's team construction. They lucked up with Hartenstein coming back right around the time that Chet got injured, so they didn't have to go too long without one of their two bigs. But it'll be hard to tell. My pick would be OKC, though, and I'm not upset at that pick. But if Dallas wins, won't be surprised. Houston, Golden State, picks there.
This is going to be a better matchup than people think, but I do feel like the veteran leadership of OKC pushes them over the top. I like Houston. I do.
OKC.
Or Golden State. Yeah, I had Golden State in mind, but I said OKC.
Golden State. This episode.
Huh?
What is going on?
I don't know.
What is going on?
I just woke up from a nap, for those that don't know. But I feel like Golden State pushes them over the top with the, experience that they have.
Houston's been balling. It'll be fun to see Şengün hoop. I feel like, I don't know. Defensively, I don't know. I don't have enough research. I haven't watched enough of these two teams.
I'm going to say that Houston's going to win. Mainly because I think that Houston has more momentum going into this game. I don't think Golden State is spiraling right now, but I do think that they've lost the momentum they've had to start the season. And because of that, and because of Houston's defense more so, I think as long as Houston isn't cold offensively, I think their defense will put them in a really good position to win the game. I think I'm gonna take Houston. If the light-skinned man does light-skinned man things, then so be it. You call me wrong. Light-skinned man can prove me wrong. I understand. But I
don't call that right now.
Is he not the light-skinned man?
There's too many of them.
Nah, there's only one light skin.
Don't say them. Don't say them. You're grouped.
Yeah, you in there.
You
I
are
got a
grouped.
brighter light today.
You're light every day.
I have a
Yeah.
ring. No, there's a huge ring light. The other one's yeah,
Okay.
crazy.
Yeah,
We'll
it's
let you live in
December.
your
Your tan is
delusion.
gone.
Oh, I look sickly in the winter. It gets bad. Like yellow, like green. I no, yeah, like you'll see. As episodes go on, you'll see a slow transition back and forth.
Right.
Don't worry.
But yeah, I'm
I'll get
taking him. But we shall see. Moving
I'm
over to,
undecided right now. Come back to me by the end of the episode.
how you undecided?
I
On
got
what? Oh, on the okay, yeah.
yeah. Question mark. We will return.
Moving over to the East, the Bucks taking on the Magic as the Magic were the wild card, I believe. Yeah. But unbiased.
Mm.
Completely unbiased. Quality
Oh,
first.
y'all waiting on me? You said unbiased like you was gonna keep going.
Oh
No,
no.
no, no, no. I mean,
Uh,
but my pick is
Preface.
definitely my pick. So
yeah, I mean, we would be dumb to not say Milwaukee. Did we watch the game against New York for Orlando?
they were due for a dud. They've been playing really well all season, so they were due for a dud.
And then Paolo being out, like it's not helpful. So
Not at all. I don't think people expected him to be playing this good without Paolo anyway. So there's that. I mean, Franz has been playing out of his mind. We'll get to him later in the episode, but I'm still taking the Bucks. I think momentum wise, I think we have the momentum. I think we have two out of the three best players in the game. Middleton will be back for that game, so that should make it even more interesting. But yeah, I'm taking the Bucks. I think it'll be a good game. I think Orlando is still going to put up a good fight. They're a good defensive team as well, so I don't expect it to be a dud by any means. But taking the Bucks for sure. Yeah, we don't really need your answer, do we?
No.
To the more entertaining game, and arguably what might be the most entertaining game of this knockout round.
New York versus Trey.
Basically, don't forget, hey, respect to Bogey. Don't leave Bogey out of
Respect to Jalen Johnson.
that too.
Milwaukee's finest.
yeah,
Respect to Taylor Johnson for sure. But yeah, New York against Atlanta. Trey Young will visit the Garden once
Clint
again.
Capella.
Wait. Yeah. Yes, Trey Young is visit. They going to New York. Yes.
yeah.
But yes, picks for that game.
Bears. It was in New York.
It's in New York. I feel like that's where Trey's at.
Atlanta.
Yeah, I think that's
Only
where
because
Trey's
Trey's in New York.
He hates New York, and I love that he hates New York.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm all for it. Atlanta is a weird team to gauge, right? Like you look at their roster and they obviously have some talent. They're young, which helps, but they don't scream contender. They don't scream anything that makes you feel like we need to be scared of them, per se. But they're a team that on any given night, if they're firing on all cylinders, they could probably beat anybody in the league. I mean, they beat the Cavs twice.
They do that.
They beat Boston. They beat us. Caught us on the end of a back-to-back, but nonetheless. Point is, they're a tricky team to gauge. And as well as New York has been playing, their defense hasn't gotten to the place where we kind of think and expect it to be. But I think they still have enough pieces to defend all the pieces that Atlanta has. But I don't know. Trey loves playing in the Garden. Trey loves living up to the moment in the Garden. So
Go ahead and say it's going to be juicy.
it is going to be juicy. It is going to be juicy on the left. But but I think man, I don't want to pick Atlanta. Like I think Atlanta could win, but I don't want to pick them to win.
You don't want to pick them because logically it should be the Knicks that win, but it won't be the Knicks that win. So just go ahead and
It seems like a very Knicks thing to make
It does.
and then lose first round against Trae Young.
It does.
It does. You know what?
But we'll see.
I'll put it in. I'll put my ballot in. Yeah, I'm going Hawks. I'll say Hawks.
And I'm returning to Houston, Golden State.
Hmm.
Houston is going to win. Golden
Ah,
State just doesn't operate the same without Draymond. I don't know why they didn't click earlier, but
agreed. So we
wrap
got
it up.
OKC and let's just say Houston. And we got Milwaukee and Atlanta
Mhm.
for the semifinals. Who we taking between OKC and Houston?
Okay, see. Okay, see.
I'm going to give you my answer after the first slate of games. When they both make it, because they will make it, we'll post on the page who I pick.
But I'm taking OKC over Golden State too, because I know that was my pick. But even if Houston or Golden State makes it, it's OKC for me.
Yeah, I just think OKC has it figured out. Like who they
Yeah.
are, their identity, that is all solidified. So it's just a matter of winning at this
And
point, being healthy and winning. So yeah, I think OKC beats whoever comes out of that game either way, and they'll be in the championship. Um Bucks Hawks. Very interesting. The Hawks are a terrible matchup for the Bucks. Terrible matchup.
they're just young and they move.
But I mean, they almost like play with four guards, almost.
Yeah.
And this
Dyson Daniels is getting every deflection.
we can't guard one guard. We can't guard four. We can't guard four. So
Yeah.
Atlanta poses a lot of issues for us. Um, I'm going to err on the side of not expecting our players to have duds. And expecting the two best players in that game to be the two best players on the court. So, and I think Milwaukee will have a little bit of a fire under them, considering how last year went.
And the last game win.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna. Not even that. I mean, the last game, like that, kind of happens in the case of the regular season. I don't. I think because it's so recent, it might play a factor. But I think thinking about last year, even how everything went with Indiana, and how that game went, and how that even started, kind of that really
Further beef.
not even well, yeah, the beef with Indiana, but then just that stretch of the season, because a month after that, just about, is when they fire Adrian Griffin. And even what came out after that game, in terms of players, calling them out and things like that. I think all of that is still, has a bad taste in Milwaukee's mouth. So I think if they get to Vegas, I don't think they're going to let anything stop them from getting to the championship game. So
Yeah.
I'm still taking, I mean, even if the Knicks come out that game, I still think it's going to be Milwaukee, and I don't know who hosts that game. If it is, never mind, it'll be in Vegas. But yeah, I think Milwaukee's going to make the championship, and that's an unbiased pick. I think if Milwaukee's playing the basketball they've been playing, regardless of who comes out that game, I think with the added motivation, they'll be in the championship, which will make it the Bucks and OKC. Which, hey, if you ask me, a Milwaukee fan, let's just call this a finals preview. Let's just call it that. If you're asking me, wishful thinking. If you're asking me, but for the NBA Cup, Bucks Thunder, who we taking?
I'm gonna say OKC because it's early, but then we're gonna use that as fuel to win the finals.
And honestly, it always goes like for some reason the team that wins early in the season loses late in the season. And I don't mind that prediction.
Like that's what I'm hoping for.
Oh,
Oh,
we win both. I can take that too. Giannis, love him some money.
I don't think that OKC will be lax. I think they'll be up for the competition. I just think if Milwaukee makes it to that point, I just see them having a lot of motivation to win this. Not because the cup means anything but because it would, in an ideal world, be theirs to win. Granted, they would probably be an underdog, against OKC, for most people probably. But I mean, I'm gonna just stick with it. I'm gonna say the Bucks. If they get to the championship, I'm gonna say they win it. If they don't, I would be more surprised by the fashion than really the winner loss. Like, I would be more concerned or worried about like if we get blown out in any of these games for that matter. But I'm gonna go ahead and say they win it all. Especially the way that we've been playing, the way Giannis has been playing, and depending on how Middleton looks, if he is healthy and can be that piece that we've been missing, then I could definitely see us winning that game. I do think he would be a difference maker. I mean, in any game, obviously, but especially against OKC, I think he would be a difference maker as opposed to us playing them without him, where we could still win, but I think they still have a little bit more of the advantage. But second NBA Cup, I think the games will be good. We shall see. Should be some good basketball. Next topic on the docket. ESPN recently released their list of 25 players under 25, and boy, oh boy, is it relatively interesting. So let's start at 25. Bilal how you say this last name, man?
Bilal Coulibaly.
Koulibaly, yes, I have heard it said that way before. But he comes in at 25. Off of not having a full list of players in the league under 25, not really mad at this. This makes sense. Solid player. Think he's having a decent year for the Wizards this year. Was he a lottery pick last year, Gail?
I want to say it's somewhere close. Or like 2 years ago now.
He was number 7.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I was gonna say he was a lottery pick. So glad he's getting a shot to kind of take the leap this year, but him being at 25 I don't have no argument with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tari Eason from the Houston Rockets.
Athletic.
Very. Think interesting. He seems like he's a defensive focused player.
Yeah.
Punch on somebody.
You said what?
And a punch on somebody.
Definitely I've seen that as well. Yeah, we talked about Houston before. We talked about them in the last episode. So I would imagine he's a player that they're going to want to keep. I think I might have even heard that him and Amen Thompson are untouchable, according to the Rockets. So that wouldn't necessarily surprise me. But good player. I don't mind him at 24.
That's a lot of untouchable pieces.
Nah, I don't think everybody's untouchable.
Well, Jalen then too, but I've heard that they were shopping. I heard they were shopping Şengün.
Shopping who?
At one point, like that, they were planning to be without him.
I will say
the injury.
Huh?
Sorry, during the injury.
I'm not sure if it was during the injury or like a little bit after, but I know that in their core, they're like, yeah, they were willing to let go of it.
Wait, they didn't extend him, right?
Mm-hmm.
He did get the contract, or he didn't?
They did extend him.
Oh, okay. Well, what I will say is Şengün probably has the best trade value. So if you were trying to go get somebody to solidify the identity of this team, Şengün might get you a lot. So if that is why he was moved, I could see that, but I don't think that'll be their first choice, or it'll just have to be a hell of a deal on the table. But
5 years, $185 million for Şengün.
Yeah,
I don't know. That's almost 200 mil. You sitting right here.
Are they in the second apron? No, are they in the first apron? I guess that's a better question. Because they extended Jalen Green too.
Yeah, they did both at around the same time.
I don't know.
He has a bag there.
I feel like Van Vliet does have a bag. Dylan Brooks' contract isn't terrible, but it's decent enough. 23, Dyson Daniels, your boy, Gail. You just talked about him. The real deflection king.
Mr. Deflection.
Look, the real king of deflection. You said Prince?
Yeah, I mean, he could be the Prince of Deflections. We have DeLon Wright. We got to respect the name. Uh, where's this metric? This graph is crazy. For Dyson Daniels and deflections. If I don't find it in 2 seconds, I was gonna say something.
Yeah, he just can't shoot.
And that's okay.
Atlanta doesn't need him.
Yeah, Atlanta doesn't need him to.
So as of right now, he's a good fit for where he is and what he does. But
Yeah.
but being 23 on a list like this, I mean, makes sense. He's 20.
Oh.
What is
Him
this?
and Caruso.
Oh, that's fire. Okay. So like 6 deflections per 75 possessions.
Oh, that's
good work.
damn good.
Yeah.
Damn good. 22, Amin Thompson. So the other defensive terrorizer in Houston. But I mean, we've talked about Amin being pretty good defensively. I mean, both of those twins are pretty good defensively, but he's definitely shown his worth to Houston. So I think if he develops more of an offensive game and he becomes more of a scorer, he could definitely be higher on this list when they do this in the next year or so. But I think 22 for him right now makes a lot of sense. I wouldn't argue him higher. So yeah.
Fair.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Now this is where things get a bit interesting. At 21, we have Tyler Hero. It's too low.
Wisconsin.
Extremely too low.
You think?
Yes.
21 for a list of 25. For somebody who he's one of the oldest players on this list, like, almost at 25. He's played in 2 finals, got his extension already, and was worth the extension, right? So,
and I'm willing to argue you can make a case that when Jimmy's out, he becomes the number one. Even with Bam on the floor.
Absolutely.
I think he's the only player on this list that you can say that becomes their number one player if the star is out.
I see 2 people on this list ahead of him that he could be ahead of.
Only 2?
Only 2?
I think only 2. Yeah. Well, yeah.
And as we get down, I'm saying, okay, so let me clear it because it's some more names on this list. I'm saying he's the only person that can be, or he's one of the only people that you can clearly say becomes the star when the star is out. Because there's some names on here that I would consider the star of the team. So I don't want people to get confused once we get lower into this list.
Yeah, no, agreed. So I feel like it's a little bit low, but we'll see where the rest of these names land. At 20, got Jalen Green, again, of Houston. So they have 3 players that make this list. Green at 20 makes sense. One could argue that he might be a little low, but I think the reason he's this low is because of his inconsistency. Like he has stretches where he's incredible. Like he's amazing. And then he has stretches where I wouldn't say he gets non-existent, but his production drops, drastically. So I could see why that may drop him on this list. I wouldn't argue this, but depending on where other players land, I wouldn't mind moving him up a little bit either. I do think he's a really, really solid player. I do think he'll be in the league a long time. I think he has star potential. I think he has Robin potential to a degree. Just still really early to call it for him, but yeah, I don't know. Y'all feel any differently?
Nope. I think it's due to inconsistency too.
Yeah, I feel like he's placed at the right spot. Also, I would say not that blasphemous to say he's better than Tyler Hero under 25. If we're saying I think they're going in the frame of like, all right, who would you have on your team best 25 under 25 in terms of taking youth into account and skill set? That's what I'm reading into this.
I would say Tyler Hero over Jalen Green.
I would too, but I understand that viewpoint, Miguel. Like, based on how young Jalen Green is, and even with the inconsistencies taken into account, because we've seen Tyler put up
As
some
his
stank
inconsistency is up
numbers.
to now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Jalen Green does have a higher ceiling. I'll admit that he does
Yeah.
have a higher ceiling. So I could see somebody taking a chance on that potential,
Yeah,
more so than what we've seen from Tyler. Because I don't think Tyler gets that much better over the
he
course of
is really good,
yeah, yeah,
So it's not a knock.
right.
Yeah.
Agree. At 19, we got Derek Lively.
This is the
Um,
first person where I was like, all right, behind Tyler Hero. Like, like
Lively can go behind Hero. Now, granted,
personally,
Lively's role, what
is
he
coveted.
does, what he's
That's
great at, like I get it, and I get why, depending on what team you take Lively over Hero. Like if
yeah,
your
because a
team,
good athletic big is more high. Because finding a good guard is a dime a dozen now. Because like guards are so high skilled. It's
yeah,
like who it's who's going to really shine where.
yeah,
But yeah, finding a good big, that's harder. So I think that's where his spot. If I'm reading people's minds, that's why he's 19 instead of Tyler Hero. So, but personally, top 25 under 25, I think skill set wise and where he's at, there's only so much higher of a ceiling he could have. I mean, he's only going to be with worse guards that can't give him the ball and access if he ever gets moved. And like how much does his skill set develop if this is his role with the Mavs? Can he go somewhere else and be a get it on his own type? Or are we just valuing him for being a rim running big? So
This is where I'm confused though. Like they have the description, ESPN has the description under the names. And they're saying that he's having a similar season that he had last year when he was a rookie. And it's I'm confused because they're saying that, he's getting a larger timeshare and everything. And is he getting a lot of clock because Dallas thought that he'd take, another leap? Because right now, doing the same thing you've done as a rookie, it feels like, well, where's the progression? I know it's only been one season, but he's averaging single digits per game in terms of points. So is 19 really fair when we have kids on this list averaging 20? And I know he's not the main focal point, but they're talking as if he's like that go-to big now, and he's not. It's Gafford still.
yeah. It's tough. I think you take the fact that as a rum running at wow, as a rim running big, he shoots a high percentage. So on the season, he's shooting 74% from the field. So if all you getting are drop off passes and lobs, high percentage, so we'll take that, right? And I think this is upside. So I think in the same way we were discussing like why Jalen was where he was and why he was right before Tyler, I think this is the same case. I think people are looking at it like he can only get better. Like he's in a limited role now, and he's only being asked to protect the rim and catch lobs, basically. But if there was room for him to get touches and make his own move, whatever the case may be, we've just yet to see it, and we don't need to see it the way Dallas is currently constructed. Hard to go off of potential, but then only being 19 on this list, maybe as we get, further toward the top, it kind of makes sense, all things considered. But I mean, I get both points. It's also hard to gauge, like you said, it's only been 1 year so far. So maybe those numbers increase a little bit, or maybe we see the impact a little bit differently over the course of this season, but still a little bit early to tell. 18, another interesting case. Jalen Suggs.
that was another one where I'm like, I don't know. I haven't seen how he's been playing as of recent, but I didn't think that he was ahead of the list on versus Tyler Hero, like personally. But
Mhm.
are we going off of who he was in college and like what type of player we've seen him be, and if he can be that lead guard in Orlando, like does he, get to the place that we thought he would be? If he was drafted third, no, like he was top five. Am I tripping?
Top five. I think it was top
Mhm.
five.
So yeah, I don't know. Like I don't watch enough Orlando basketball to say.
So do you think he's too high or too low?
Mm.
Like if anything, like too high, like not too high, but like 2 spots too high.
Okay.
At
So you,
least behind Tyler Hero.
so you think he should be in the bottom five of this list of 25?
Like in that like 20 range around there.
Yeah, I don't know if I would even say that. I just like if he were at 18 and Tyler Hero was at like 10, I don't think I would have a problem with 18 for Jalen Suggs.
He just
It's
shouldn't
just
be
yeah, just
above certain players.
going back to that Tyler Hero point, like that's someone where I was like, I didn't get it
Yeah.
necessarily.
Yeah. I
But I
think
can coach
also
myself.
since the bubble, I think Tyler Hero has also been, I won't say he's been injury prone, but he's dealt with a lot of injuries. So I also think that may have factored into why people have him so low on this particular list, especially given the young players that came in like class after him, a couple classes after him that made a splash that might have been even bigger than his in their first year or two. So again, a lot of factors that could be at play, but I hear all points. 17, Jalen Johnson from Atlanta.
Milwaukee's finest. So
Milwaukee's finest indeed. I think this is a relatively good spot for him. I think after this season, like when they do this list next year, he will absolutely be higher. Absolutely
Mhm.
will be top 15 for sure. 16, very, very sad case. Very sad case.
Scary.
Zion Williamson.
what's sad?
It is there is
Number one.
there's absolutely no reason that Zion should be this low on this list.
Yeah.
Barring what has happened, like it's sad that he has not been able to put together a full campaign, stay healthy, really consistently play at levels we've seen him play in spurts.
Yeah.
Like he just like he hasn't to not have played all season when that was not the expectation coming into this season is just with no timetable, no concept or context to a return of nothing. But y'all thought Bucks fans was mad. I know Pelicans fans are pissed, punching
I'm
their pillows. Like this has to be annoying.
It literally sucks that 16 is justifiable for Zion Williamson. And you can probably argue he should be a little bit lower. Like, that sucks.
yeah, I was gonna say I thought it was an appropriate spot, given
It is.
everything that's like, up in the air for him. I guess, yeah, like I guess a sad case. I see that side now, but I think that still he's in the top 25. Like, hell. Markel Fultz, is he under 25? Because
No.
God bless his soul, should be on this list, but he's just where is that man?
We don't know. I don't even is Fultz even in the league right now?
Oh.
I don't
Oh,
think
yeah.
so. I don't think
He
so.
was with Orlando last, right?
I'm like, is he hurt again? Like I don't
I don't
yeah.
know if he's hurt. I don't know if Orlando picked him up. I think his contract was over.
I know, yeah, it's sad.
I'm gonna look this up.
He
I
should be on
am
the
very
Bucks. He
curious.
should be on the Bucks right now.
All right. Everybody don't need to be on the Bucks. Kid.
Markel Fultz should be on the Bucks. That is
Yeah.
literally he was playing great for Orlando. Like,
I mean, he was.
well, it's not like he was playing bad. So
He put together a decent season when he was finally healthy.
trade 2 people for 1 person. Bring Markel Fultz in.
Well, I don't even know if we can really do that. I don't know what a trade package from us
We
looks like.
we we would have to trade multiple for 1,
Yeah.
He is a free agent.
which we could do.
Free agent. Uh okay.
Fox,
15.
hear me, please.
15 on this list. Brandon Miller from Charlotte. I'm not mad at it.
No, he's been playing really well too.
I think this is a good spot for him. I think he has tremendous upside though. Like I think he can I think we'll see him get better and better over the next 2 to 3 years. And by the time his extension comes around, like which will I guess be after next year if they decide to extend him right away, but it'll be really interesting to see where he's at in the next year or so. But I like the leap he's made, this year from last year even. So not mad at this spot at all for him.
Yeah.
14, Darius Garland. Like
I feel
I want to be upset because of how good he could be, but this is honestly very fitting. Like this tracks.
So is
yeah.
it hindsight bias for me or recency bias for me that I'm a little upset at this? Like it
Has he been playing garbage recently?
no,
No, he's
like
been
this
playing great
he looked
this season.
good.
Oh no, I
Yeah.
was gonna say, yeah, I thought he's been fine. Like he's been playing like how I thought Darius Garland could play. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
I think and wait until we get on the later names. I feel like everyone on this list is like we have a lot of skilled young talent that is coming up. Just perspective, you
Yeah.
Yeah,
know.
I think this should be the start of like his career should really be able to take off from here, ideally, barring serious injury, things of that nature. And if he can perform in the postseason, that's in the description on ESPN. But I think if he can turn in a really good postseason campaign, I think a lot of people will be willing to put him higher on this list. I mean, next year he'll be well, if they're still counting 25, I think you have to be younger than 25, and by next year he'll be 25. So
Now, I got a question. Should he be punished for not performing in the playoffs when it's some players on here that have never seen the playoffs, such as the next name that you're about to say? Because I truly feel like he needs to be ranked higher than this next person.
interesting question. I don't think that he should be punished in comparison to somebody who's never been in the playoffs. However, if you are a number two option, you cannot afford to disappear in the playoffs, regardless of situation. If you
Feel
do
you?
two, you're the number two. Now, to Cade being at 13, while Cade has not seen the playoffs, you consider the fact that he's dealt with some injuries, things of that nature. Cade gonna be an issue. Cade gonna be a problem. Like when he truly like settles in. Not that he isn't settled in now, but it'll be really interesting to see if Detroit continues to kind of build a contender. They have some decent, foundational pieces right now, but
Mhm.
Cade like that. So I don't know if I could say that Cade is straight up better than Darius Garland right now. Like I feel like you had to get too much into the weeds for that from a skill set standpoint. I think Cade is arguably maybe a better two-way player or has better two-way potential. Which is why I
Mhm.
don't mind them being right here next to each other. They could be interchangeable, in my opinion. But I think if Cade was to sniff the playoffs, I think we see him take it a step further. I I would bet money on that he would. 12.
I think that. Oh,
12. LaMelo.
Come on now.
This is crazy.
Come on now.
great spot.
Also, this could be recency bias too. This could
Very
be
much
a
recency
bit
bias.
of recency.
No,
Also,
no.
A little bit.
like
This
A little
one's
bit.
not. This one
you
is
have to
not.
take that.
Okay.
You have to take that into account. Could be.
So
His
how
injuries, because when he's on the floor, like he's one of the people, he doesn't even need time to come back from an injury.
I'll say that. Okay, I'll say
No.
this. I think that LaMelo should at least be top 10. There could
Yeah.
easily be two players that he's ahead of.
Oh, this is also true. Yeah, let's go further. Let's not even talk about how good LaMelo is and how he shoots 1 foot threes and how he makes it look like
So,
Hills in the NBA.
okay, so Scotty Barnes is at 11. Would you put LaMelo over Scotty Barnes right now?
Absolutely. If I were
Personally,
starting a team,
yes, but I also see the argument that Scotty would be a better two-way player than LaMelo.
I think that Scotty is still a bit raw in his talent, but I mean, we all said when he got the contract that it was a bit like that's a lot
I
for
think when people
what
look
we
at
have to
Scotty
see.
Barnes, they salivate over him being like, oh look, another Kawhi, like it's the next Kawhi, like the next Jimmy Butler, like that defensive player turned offensive, like like the superstar, and like he's had more assists because he's played point guard, but that's by force in Toronto. But I don't know if he develops that skill set, he's a solid two-way player, but I would take him out first.
I understand. I like you said, if somebody had Scotty, above LaMelo, and he's like right above, like him and LaMelo being right there for
Makes
where
sense.
we are right now. I get it, but I could see LaMelo being above him as well.
I don't get
Um,
it. I don't. I don't.
So do you feel like there's like a light years difference from
Yes,
Melo and Scotty right now?
I really do. Truly,
I don't know if it's that far. I don't think it's
I
that much of a
really
difference.
do. Truly,
If you were starting a franchise, would you pick LaMelo or Scotty to build
I
around?
would pick LaMelo.
If I'm gonna sell tickets, I'm getting LaMelo.
I ain't say
Not even to sell
I ain't say sell
tickets.
tickets. Sell tickets, that's easy.
Run up the score. If I need you to ball out, am I picking Scotty Barnes to ball out?
I'm building but I'm
No,
saying if I'm starting, if I need to pick a player out of those two to start a franchise and build around, I'm not saying it's an easy decision, but I think you can build around Scotty because of his versatility
And
and ability. And I think you could potentially build a better roster with him as the core player of the roster than LaMelo. It goes back to the conversation we had of LaMelo's play being sustainable. Like people had the same conversation about Russ back in the day, back in his early years. Like LaMelo gonna sell tickets. You want to see a show? That's great. And I'm not even knocking LaMelo as a talent, his skill, any of that. But I could see how, depending on all the things you're considering, I could see why some players might be seen ahead of him in that regard. But if we just talking like the better basketball player in terms of who's going to get a bucket, who's going to sell more seats, who's
who's a
going to
better hooper?
go better hooper, that's LaMelo. Like I ain't arguing that. I'm bringing all the other semantics into it, and stuff. But we get to 10, Alfred Şengün.
Alfred? What do we
Alfred
do on that?
Alperin.
Alsprin. Alsprin. The company.
aspirin.
Alsprin Shangoon.
What? How'd you say it differently than what I just said? You didn't pronounce the H as much?
They're like Alfred.
No. You made it sound like I said Alfred. I didn't say that.
You said like Alvin Taylor. You're saying
All
Oh
right.
my
a
God.
different language.
He's picking on
Unhinged. You're trying to push it. You're trying to push it. But
I'm seeing. Come on now. Let's see.
Şengün is at 10. Do we have a problem with this?
Mm-mm.
I like him at 10. I mean, we'll see if I feel like he could be. Well, there's definitely one player I think he should be above, but neither here nor there. Number 9, J-Dub.
That's cool.
I like J-Dub at 9.
This is just the blue that they wear.
Insane.
I
Now,
don't know why I wore this on a Packers game day. That was crazy.
now here's where things get
Oh,
more interesting. Evan Mobley at 8.
They saw that summer tape and they were like, he was hooping. Oh, he can move like that? Oh, okay.
So I think this is one of them things where like it isn't that I mean, Mobley has solid numbers, 18 points a game, 9 rebounds a game, blocking a half a game. Like, no, those are really solid numbers. And given who he's playing with, Donovan Mitchell, Garland, some of the other players that have stepped up in Cleveland, these are solid numbers. He's your third option, right? I don't know if a lot of people consider his career to be underwhelming up to this point, maybe because we expect more or we want to see more from him. I would personally probably have Şengün higher than Mobley, in my personal opinion. I could see LaMelo being higher than Mobley, in my personal opinion. But again, that two-way ability and that two-way versatility, I think, is ranking real high for him right now. So I'm not mad at it. I don't disagree with him being top 10 on this list. I just might reshuffle between like 8 and 12. I might reshuffle him a little bit.
Fair. I don't know if I take LaMelo over Mobley personally, in terms of because of that versatility defensively, like that's needed.
Yeah. So would you take Mobley over Scotty then?
Yeah.
I think Scotty's better offensively, but I mean, for what you get in.
Seeing that tape of him balling in the summer, I don't know. Mobley's got it. He just doesn't need it.
Summer tapes don't matter.
No, it's not Melo.
Ben Simmons' summer tape look crazy. Does it matter?
No, that's just Ben Simmons' summer tape. That never matters. Everyone else valid. Like Hoodie Melo, if they let him play in a hoodie jersey.
Oh yeah, it'd be lit.
Let's do that.
It'd be lit.
T-shirts in before that.
Crying. Number 7, Tyrese Maxey.
I think that's fine.
Yeah.
If Halliburton's gonna be 6, I'd at least switch him.
I could see that too.
Yeah.
I'm not mad at how it is.
Johnson bias. No.
I'm not mad at how it is, but I can also see the case for switching between him and Hallie. I think Hallie has, well, I don't think, I know Hallie has a little bit more of an impact on how the engine goes for the Pacers. Not saying that Maxey isn't a cornerstone piece, but I think Billy could make a little noise if Maxey was unfortunately sidelined. But it feels like if Hallie is on the sideline, the Pacers have a tougher time doing what they did last year.
Yeah.
I agree. And seeing his production dip this season is a bit disappointing, but I also think it's somewhat expected because I think he kind of caught the league by surprise last year a little bit, and the Pacers did in general. And granted, they've been hit by the injury bug, but I think it'll be interesting to see how he responds throughout the rest of the year, postseason, if they get there and what that run looks like. But I mean, he's still, like, obviously all these players are still young, so he has time, but I think a lot of us want to see him continue his production from last year into this season. So kind of sad to see it dip, but still makes sense that he's in the top 10. Getting to the top 5 of this list, Chet Holmgren, number 5. Not mad at it. I'm not mad at it. I don't think anybody that we've named before should be above Chet. And I mean,
It's only one person I would argue is better under him. You know, I mean, above him.
who?
Like one person 4 through 1 that I would probably argue shouldn't be above Chet. No, I'm sorry. I take that back. Never mind. I'm sorry. I'm just talking. I had to think about it as I was saying it. You know what? No, this is good.
Okay. So
And personally,
you said what?
I might take J-Dub over Maxey and Halliburton.
I'm not mad.
I'm not mad at that. And I see why you would.
Yeah.
I probably would as well. I wouldn't even say that's recency bias, to be honest, because we've been J-Dub fans since last season. And this season, he's just took it up another notch once again.
Yeah, and just defensively too. Like, I don't know. That's where
J-Dub should be, I mean, J-Dub up there. Like J-Dub is up there as far as under 25, so I get it. 4, Franz. I think a lot of this is this season. I very much think him being this high is recency bias. Will I go out of my way to argue that it's too high? I mean, he's not moving too many spots down.
Yeah.
No. So if somebody wants to argue Chet, sure, depending on what you want to consider. I probably wouldn't take Halliburton over him. Maxey's a little bit of a tougher argument, but still probably wouldn't definitively take him over. Maybe J-Dub. I can see if somebody say I take J-Dub over Franz. I can see that. But then I don't know if J-Dub, like, would J-Dub be 4 on this list, or would that be seen
better than Chet? Is J-Dub better than Chet? You know?
Ooh, wait, that's juicy.
Don't send us to the OKC locker room.
Could be.
They don't have egos.
Depends on the game. Depends on the game.
You know?
Yeah, I'm not super mad at Franz at 4. Paolo at 3.
Decent.
Makes sense.
Yep.
He's not definitively better than the other two. So
yeah, but he's a baller.
Yeah, for sure. And he's gonna be the real deal for a while. Anthony Edwards at 2 and
what?
And Wemby at 1. So
your mind.
I mean this makes sense. Like Wemby will probably be at the top of this list until 25. So and Ant will probably be 2 on this list. It'll be interesting to see though, I will say, if the Magic for whatever reason, and I don't know if the Magic would need a season like the Timberwolves had last year, But if Paolo continues to put up the numbers he's putting up, and if the Magic do get out the first round, maybe get out the second round, who knows, right?
Mm-hmm.
Could there be a conversation about Paolo getting into the space of an Anthony Edwards? Are there games that different? Like, is one definitively better than the other outside of the hype and like the show from the eye test of just a basketball player? Is one definitively better than the other?
Like, I can see Paolo getting to that level. I really can. I can. I, the dominance of like the ability to dominate is definitely there. I don't know if he'll be as boisterous as Anthony is, but like on the court, game speaking for itself, Paolo got that dog. He definitely does.
I agree. It'll be interesting to see for sure. But yeah, overall, thoughts on the list, percentage of how much we agree with it.
70%.
Yeah. We pretty
Outside of a
much
couple spots, got to be switched.
yeah.
70 feels kind of low if it was only a couple spots you change.
There's only 25. A few out of 25 is
I'm
group
not
is
getting mad.
7.
But what's 70% of 25?
What is it?
20?
I don't know that type of
Oh
quick.
yeah, a couple few is 6. 5 is
Well, okay, 50% of 25 is 12.5. We at least know that. So 3/4 of 25.
It's about 18 because 17 is 68%. So like 18.
So what's that? Seven players that might get moved around?
Yeah, and that makes sense because Tyler Hero would jump a lot of spots. So
Decent amount of spots. You shuffling around a couple spots. Jada might jump 2 spots at least. LaMelo might jump. Yeah. I agree with that. We can go 70%. Cool. I like it. I like it. Well, we should see how things go for the NBA Cup. We will probably either come back before the championship game or maybe we'll wait until after the championship at this point to discuss cup dealings. But NFL about to heat up. Gotta make this postseason runs. About that time. But yeah, a lot of stuff to talk about, a lot of stuff to get into. But this has been our NBA Cup analysis, predictions, and also talking about some of the best young talent in the league. So tell us what you agree with, what you don't agree with, what you like, what you don't like. And yeah, let us know what else you want to hear on the show. But until then, until next time, from the most unhinged, educated podcast you know, catch y'all next episode. Peace.